Welcome back. 2025 was an interesting year to say the least. You heard my worst of the year, now let's get to my favorite thing to talk about, which is the best of the year. Before I get started, I wanted to mention to try not to fixate about the ranking as much as I loved all these movies. A film is an art piece, and it may feel like one is better than the other, but then feel the opposite given time. Starting off with some honorable mentions: Caught Stealing, Thunderbolts, Rental Family, Demon Slayer, and Bring Her Back. These were all films that I loved and they left an impact on me outside of the day I watched them. Rental Family had me cry. Caught Stealing juggled different tones brilliantly in a short period of time. Bring Her Back proved that it's not what you tell, it's how you tell it. Thunderbolts felt like Marvel finally taking another big swing, and Demon Slayer brought back patience to film that has been missing recently. As much as I love these, there are 10 that I connected more towards. There was also a few movies that I missed this year. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Is This Thing On, Lurker, Begonia, No Other Choice, Sentimental Value, and Highest to Lowest. Some of these I had no access to watch. Some of these require me to drop another $15 on a streaming service. Some of these I just couldn't get to. I will get to most of them before Oscar season arrives. But at the end of the day, I watched 84 new movies after all. This is the top 10 of those 84. Starting off with number 10, we have Mickey 17. I'm not sure why people haven't given this enough praise because this was a blast to sit through. There is another movie with the same subject matter that did this better, but what I love about the way this speaks about it is how we see it through the lens of a character who isn't very bright. I love when film uses comedy to get its very serious and dark message across. This actually has my second favorite performance of the year, with Robert Pattinson having this laid-back college kid voice.
That was the first time I saw Nasha Barrage. On day one.
That's one underrated aspect of Pattinson that no one says much about. His ability to speak so fluently into his characters that if you closed your eyes, you couldn't tell that it was played by the same guy.
How would you like it if I made you cry, huh? Would you like that? Go, let's go!
I'm vengeance.
This also is the second doppelganger movie where it's just one frame you can tell who is who. Also, Mark Ruffalo's in this. I love that guy. I love what he's doing. Very similar to Poor Things, only difference is he's playing an evil idiot here rather than an evil asshole. Let's just give him his flowers now because he's been on a roll recently with this, Poor Things, and Task. Bong Joon-ho did it again for me, and it sucks that this wasn't appreciated enough. At number 9, we have Train Dreams. This is easily the most beautiful shot film of the year, with an Oscar-worthy performance with Joe Edgerton. There's so many complexities in this very simple plot of a movie. This feels like hitting record on your life and not turning it off until it's over. We follow a man who's been living a very simple life, but he feels like he's been cursed over some things that transpired throughout the movie. This is a very quiet and somber film, so when it gets ugly, you feel every bit of loss. This is actually the film that I related to the most. Hopefully it gets some Oscar buzz, but unfortunately this flew under the radar for a lot of people. At number 8, we have Sinners. I know, please don't crucify me for not having it in the top 5, but I still absolutely love this. When first hearing that Ryan Coogler was going to make a 1930s vampire movie starring Michael B. Jordan, my first thought was, you had me at Ryan Coogler. The layers in this cause for multiple watches without getting tired of a single scene. We have Michael B. Jordan playing twins, and I love how all we need is one facial expression and we can tell them apart easily. This performance feels like he's been playing it for years. The costume, music, and cinematography are only added flavors. The story is so good that it gets down on its own, but these technical aspects of filmmaking made it clear that this is the movie to watch. This is one of those movies where every single thing it can get nominated for should get nominated for. The rich writing and themes are not much of a shocker when it comes to a guy like Ryan Coogler. Number 7, The Life of Chuck. A Stephen King adaptation I didn't even know existed, and I also didn't know I needed. A beautiful telling of a man's life that was sadly cut short, but the way that it tells its story has you questioning your own life and your own existence. Separated into 3 parts, only thing that stopped me from having this much higher is the fact that the first act isn't as compelling as the second or third. But those last 2 acts has you truly feeling like we are all Chuck in some way. Knowing is not feeling, and we all know that life is short. But having things like this help us regain that feeling of being alive. To a certain point, it feels like we're watching a mirror. And let's not forget that this gave Matthew Lillard time to shine here. A short but sweet role for him. Do yourself a favor and watch this modern masterpiece. At number 6, we have Hamnet. I did not know what to expect before I saw this. I had no knowledge of the source material, nor did I try looking into it before I saw the film. Paul Mescal's my favorite up-and-coming actor right now, so hearing he was going to play William Shakespeare, directed by Chloe Zhao, I was all in. Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal have their best performance I've ever seen. This film will make you grieve with them. Every cry you hear from Buckley felt like you were hearing your own mother cry. I love how it shows how differently they channeled their own pain and grief. How one thought the other didn't care, but they just channeled their pain into something that can help others grieve. It gave me a lot to think about my own personal struggles and how I could channel those into something greater than I imagined. We all will lose somebody and go through pain in our lives. It's inevitable. But what keeps us going? Art itself. Movies, music, shows, books, stand-up, cooking, painting. All these things that help us continue onward. Whether it's through escape or facing the subject matter head on, we live through it with art. And some of us may not even know it. That is what Hamnet did for me. This also has the most emotional ending out of any film this year. I don't want to sound schmaltzy when I say that it'll get you to stand up and clap at the end. Number 5, Frankenstein. Gothic horror is my favorite subgenre to begin with, so this was always on my radar. This is a beautiful work of art. The moment I saw Jacob Elordi's eyes when Victor was treating him like shit, I had all the sympathy in the world for this creature. Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors working today, so I had big expectations, and they weren't just met, they exceeded. We come to expect magnificent set design and costumes from del Toro, and sure enough, they are. Mia Goth is great alongside Oscar Isaac, but it's Elordi who channels this almost childlike way of moving himself. He's such a big guy, but yet he seems like the smallest guy in the room. I think we've come to realize that with stories as old as these, they will not be the exact adaptation. Mary Shelley's book is amazing, but del Toro is also an amazing director, so I'm more interested in seeing his own version and his own spin on it. It just sucks that this movie wasn't released in theaters worldwide and it was just dropped into Netflix. Number 4, One Battle After Another. This movie fucking slaps. I'm so happy we still have nearly 3-hour movies with this kind of energy. Once again, it tells the themes of something through the lens of a big-hearted idiot. A guy who's not very bright. Leo plays this role so well, along with having great chemistry with his co-star who plays his daughter, Chase Infinity, who's also wonderful in this. Leo should and will get nominated for this. However, the lock-in Oscar win for me is Sean Penn. I'm not about to go on a long tangent and monologue about how amazing he is, because we've heard it all. From the walk, to the way he licks his lips, to the stupid haircut. This thing is definitely winning supporting actor. I love Paul Thomas Anderson and his sense of humor, how he uses comedy so easily to elevate the themes of his story. It also gave us one of the funniest R-word drops.
Who called me? Do you understand that, you fucking retard?
One of my favorite actors, Benicio del Toro, plays a guy who is literally the definition of the chill guy meme. It's really easy to fuck up the fuck the patriarchy type themes, especially when it's not really trying to tell you what's right or wrong. I also love what it has to say about what you pass down and what your past choices might cause after running from them. This couldn't have come at a better time, as it feels like it relates to our times the most.
That's it. Courage. Yeah.
Number 3, we have Weapons. I gotta be honest and say that even though this is at number 3, this is actually the perfect movie for me. Critically speaking, I would say that the next 2 movies are better. However, this is exactly what I look for in a film. Weapons somehow balances being a layered, grieving piece, all while being a fun movie. You can look at it as straightforward as possible and allow the sound of the metaphors and symbolisms to go through your head, and you'd still have a great fun time. But you can also look into the themes of becoming weapons ourselves. We act on our impulses and fears, only to end up harming ourselves or others. Ever since I saw Zach Cregger's Barbarian, I was hooked on what he would do next. Seeing this eerie teaser of kids running out of their homes with a deep voice speaking over it.
Those kids walked out of those homes. No one pulled them out. No one forced them.
There was something creepy about this. It's such a great concept, and I love when movies have a fresh, unique idea and you have no idea how they're going to explain it. Every character's perspective had something interesting to say. Cregger knows how to film horror, and I just love how he does his tracking shots. I can talk about this movie all day, but it's safe to say that this was right up my alley, and I can't wait for Cregger's next film.
And number 2, Marty Supreme. Back in 2019, a 16-year-old me saw Good Time and was instantly set on making a film similar to the energy that brought. Then I heard that the 2 brothers that made Good Time were coming out with a film that same year called Uncut Gems. I like the Smashing Machine, but it's clear that Josh Safdie is the guy who emphasizes that anxiety-inducing way of directing. The people talking over each other, the main characters being dicks while also having some sort of charm to them. Marty Supreme is all of that, but better. It doesn't make you feel down after watching it. I love both these films, but you don't feel good about yourself after watching them. This actually was much more uplifting. We meet Marty, a hustler who happens to be pretty good at ping pong, who's trying to navigate his way to the top by any means necessary. I could have seen another hour of this. Marty is an asshole. He's actually on the brink of being irredeemable. However, he never quite crosses the line, all while having this certain charm to him that I can't help but to constantly hope that he does the right thing. Timothée Chalamet will get nominated for the Oscar, and I think that he should win. It's hard to write a protagonist that's an asshole when you're meant to follow them. I can't imagine what it's like to play one while trying to keep some sort of humanity to keep people from completely hating you. I love how they cast people as well. Everyone just looks real. Timothy has acne throughout. Tyler, the creator, is sweating like he's been playing anything other than ping pong. The point is, everything looks so authentic. I only wish that the Safdie brothers made films more often. And number 1. I'm going to be honest with you and say that I didn't expect this to still be my number 1 because it's been my number 1 since the beginning of the year. Critically speaking, I feel like some of these movies might be a little bit better, but this was the single best experience I had at the movie theaters this year, and that movie is Warfare. A true story about a Navy SEAL team getting stuck in Iraq after a mission goes bad. That's all I'll give you because it's 90 minutes of pure anxiety and I loved every second of it. It's unfortunate that not enough people went to go see this because this has some of the best sound editing I've ever heard. You feel every bullet taken. I have no idea what it's like to have PTSD, but it feels like this is the closest idea I could get. I love that A24 is still making big swings that don't necessarily feel like traditional A24 style. I was pretty intrigued to watch this because Alex Garland's last film, Civil War, had me holding my ballsack when Jesse Plemons appeared. He has a way of building tension like no other. This was also co-directed by Ray Mendoza, who was one of the Navy SEALs in this true story. I feel like that's what added to the level of authenticity that no other person could provide. Joseph Quinn and Cosmo Jarvis are standouts in this. In all honesty, the entire cast is great because that's what makes this entire movie. There's not much of a story going on in this. This is more so based off of a memory, based off of a nightmare. A lot of it is just waiting, and the waiting period is what's creating that anxiety. When the bullets start flying, the anxiety never stops. We have scenes where people say that they'll be there in a few minutes, but those few minutes feel like hours. But to me, it's not calling for a more dramatic story because the reality was scary enough. The conflict itself isn't even explained. All we know is that these guys are here and these other guys do not want them there. They're given orders and they just do it, fighting a war that they themselves don't even know why. The last shot summing up what the film was saying from the get-go, having the tanks drive off into the distance with the emptiness of the dirt streets and the family slowly coming out of their houses, having to just move on from the complete traumatic experiences with no knowledge as to why, cutting to black as life goes on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know what is my worst take here, what is my best take here. Let me know what your favorite movies were of the year. I have one more video that's wrapping up the 2025 year, which is ranking all 84 movies that I had seen. It's pretty ambitious, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. This video took absolutely so long to make. I am tired, and I will see you guys in the next one.